Welcome back to Notorious Figures in History. Today I've got a name for you that sounds straight out of a gangster movie. Peter Horseface Licavoli. Imagine a man who ordered killings, ran rackets from Detroit to Tucson, and yet barely spent 6 years behind bars. A man who worked with Henry Ford, rubbed elbows with mob bosses, and died with most secrets intact. His shadow hung over the industrial Midwest, Detroit, Toledo, Cleveland, and then there was the desert. The Grace Ranch outside Tucson where the underworld vacationed, Prohibition, the roaring 20s, a St. Louis kid named Pete Licavoli clawed his way up. He became boss of the Riverside Gang in Wyandotte, a crew tied to nearly 20 killings in the Prohibition era. One infamous hit, beloved radio commentator Gerald Buckley, gunned down in the LaSalle Hotel lobby. Licavoli was a prime suspect, one of the 3 shooters investigators named. When East and West Side mobs clashed in 1930, alliances decided who lived and who didn't. Licavoli teamed with Abe Bernstein's Purple Gang, the so-called Kosher Nostra, and rose fast. After rival boss Cesare Big Chet Lemaire was killed, Pete was rewarded, promoted to capo over Toledo. He brought in brothers Dominic and Thomas, Yoni and his cousin Jack, later a Cleveland boss. But Licavoli was more than muscle. He was a strategist who turned crime into business. During the Depression, he allegedly supplied head crushers to Henry Ford to break strikes. That arrangement made him rich: protection, muscle, and access. Like other mob elites, Pete moved to Grosse Pointe Park, a neighborhood the FBI called an underworld compound. He lived among businessmen and gangsters, blending crime with respectability. The Licavolis married into power. Dominic married Joe Zerilli's daughter. Pete married Grace Bomarito, another tight alliance. And family ties extended to Youngstown's Camerata. His rap sheet: robbery, murder, bootlegging, bribery, illegal gambling, and more. A prime suspect in at least 7 homicides, yet he served roughly 6 years total across 3 terms. In the early 1950s, he was subpoenaed before the Kefauver Committee. Senator Kefauver called him the most cold-blooded and contemptuous individual to appear before the committee. Licavoli's reach wasn't just crime. It was business, property, and investments from Detroit to Arizona. He owned businesses across states: real estate like Apache Realty, Gold Cup Coffee and similar fronts, insurance companies and distribution firms. In Arizona, he owned a grape and date farm. He owned motels and a printing company, legitimate faces for his cash. His Grace Ranch became a mob retreat, a place to dig holes and relax. He associated with New York boss Joe Bonanno, close enough that their sons were arrested together for smuggling guns, a scandal that linked 2 criminal dynasties. In 1963, Zerilli promoted Pete to underboss, Joe's number 2. He stayed in power until his 1972 conviction for transporting stolen goods. After 18 months, he retired to his Tucson ranch. The desert shielded him in old age. Peter Licavoli died January 11, 1984, at his home in Tucson due to heart complications. Ruthless, smart, untouchable, a lifetime of crimes. A desert ghost who walked away with a fortune and a mystery. Subscribe for more videos on notorious figures in history, and be sure to check out our other videos. Cheers.